And we're back.
It is slow. And we're back. Thanks for that commercial. I hope you guys saw that. That was a good one.
You know, that's better than any Super Bowl commercials I've ever seen. Kevin, how'd you get that produced?
Oh, it's always something, isn't it?
I didn't think you could dunk it on a 10-foot goal.
Right. I can't. Trust me. Like and share, please. Share it. Get our audience back. We were almost up to 80 at one point. So we were talking with Mayor Costin. We're having a good time. We have mentioned my haircut and his haircut now. Corey will not show his, so it was my fault.
But
so.
Still short.
Look at that. He's new. You're new, aren't you?
But it needs buzzed.
Yeah. So everything's slowly going to open back up.
Yep, should be both.
And I know what I was asking you right before we went. It's my fault. It was my fault, Betty. I hit a button or something. I'd have never dreamed that this is where we'd be, not only city-wise, state-wise, country, worldwide.
Right.
And a lot of prayers.
I know I was on with a group last week, and they asked, powers of the mayor and how things are adjusting. I said, well, I'm still learning. We're in maybe 2.5 months, and all of a sudden everything changes. We don't have meetings, and it's been an experience for everybody.
5th month into it right now, and this is what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Fun, isn't it?
I'm gonna put. Yeah, that's why I said I was like, man, I'm glad. We have a question
from Samantha.
Who knows when the overpass will be open? They're talking about the bridge to Walmart.
Right.
That's where I'm getting.
My understanding is it should be open by the end of May,
Nice.
but it was supposed to be open by the end of
Kevin
middle of
needs to
April,
know the
too.
date and time because he wants to be the first to zoom over.
We'll be there with Porch Time and our iPad, and I'm gonna jump my car and take off.
That would work.
Yeah, we can pull that off. I've been working the entire
hopefully
time.
within the next 3 weeks it should be completed.
Yeah.
And we're going to stripe on down South Street, even though NDOT has done some great things for us. I mean, if you look around the city and you see all this piping that's laying out there,
Everywhere.
that's replacing our infrastructure at no cost. So that's millions of dollars that they're doing for us.
That's a good deal.
But man, that's sure a headache that we're going to have to live through. South Street really should have been done 2 years ago when they were working on the Bloomington, Martinsville portion. It wasn't. So now we've got to deal with it, but they are going to stripe that as we come off and hopefully make it a little safer.
And they're going to widen South Street, correct? St. Clair area. And
at the end of the project.
Right.
Now, after they get 3769 open back, then they're going to come in, and from 69, they're going to redo Ohio Street. Now, I think the last time I was on here talking, we were going to take Ohio Street all the way to Morgan. We were talking one day at City Hall, and I got thinking, well, what are they going to do at Morgan Street? If they're going to widen Ohio Street, they're going to encroach on some of those historic homes. It's not, some of the spaces in there are pretty tight.
Pretty tight, yeah.
And now they're going to bring all this traffic to our downtown, to Morgan Street. Are they going to put another roundabout? Well, the roundabout in Garfield's $500,000. Hey, think what it would be at Morgan. They're going to put a stoplight there? Well, it just didn't make sense. So we were talking, why don't they, where they put the roundabout at Garfield, go west in front of the middle school to Main Street, and then bring Main Street all the way to downtown. Nice big road, nice entry into our downtown area. And so Gary Oakes went back to the state and pitched that to them, and they thought it was a great idea. Looked at it a little bit further, and the amount of money that they are saving by not going all the way to Morgan Street, they're going to put the roundabout in for us.
Really?
So that's $500,000 the city will not have to spend. Correct.
That's a good deal right there.
So
we seen your questions. Hang on one second. Right now we're on Ohio Street. Roundabout at Garfield, Ohio, correct?
Correct. And, there's 6 streets coming in there.
Oh, yeah. That's
So what happens, Center Street will be stubbed off back at the last house, and that'll be diverted then over to Haley'sville Road. So there'll be 5 streets coming in that roundabout.
Good deal then. And then the main thoroughfare is going to shoot down in front of West and hit Main.
Right, correct. Down Garfield, and it's, if you stop thinking about it, what a beautiful entry into our city coming up Main Street.
Past West, the old West Middle. Yep. Good
Yeah, you know, the historic John Wooden
Right,
Middle
it's
School.
right
I
there.
mean, that's
Right
kind
there.
of sometimes our claim to fame.
I saw one question a minute ago about the pool being open. When we have a date on that yet, Kenny?
The governor said that all pools and playgrounds could be open on May 24th. I know the park is working on getting our pool opened. There were a couple of minor things that had happened over the winter. So we've got a representative from Spears Company coming in Thursday. They're going to do some testing on it. Then Friday they are going to start filling the pool and trying to get it up and going.
So possibly over Memorial Day weekend.
Right. It'll be kind of tough because according to Phil Decker Jr., who's councilman,
Sure.
also school teacher, he takes care of the high school's pool and several other pools, and then he and Brian Beasley were managers up at the pool there for a few years. He's assisting the park in getting it opened, and he was telling me there was certain testing that you've got to be done. So even if we can get it full, get it going, it may take us 2 or 3 weeks to get the testing and get the water levels open. But,
Makes sense.
But we are working on that.
Is there going to be access to Artesian Acres to Mahaley'sville? I think the frontage road will come down to Ohio Street, correct? Am I saying that?
And there's going to be a little roadblock next week right off of Mahaley'sville off of 37, but you'll be able to get through from Southview Drive.
Okay.
I mean, it's just a real small section there. They got to close off. I think they're putting piping underneath.
They've
the road.
got the frontage road in front of the old 84 shut off now.
Yeah.
But that eventually would be open back up, I would assume.
Right.
Yeah.
That allow people coming off of Burton Lane, shoot down Southview, and then to Mahaley'sville Road. Gary Oakes brings in these drawings, and for the overpass at 252, I'm thinking there was like 250 some pages of drawings that they've got in there.
Now is the highway going over us, or
Oh, I tell you, that it's gonna be a roller coaster.
how's that going to go?
The drawings at 44 will go over 69.
Okay, so by the fire department, it's going to go over 69.
69 is going to go over 252.
So you can go up and down.
Oh, it's gonna go.
So
Oh, wow.
at 252, now I'm pretty sure I've got my measurements right here. In a 500-foot span, they'll drop down 60 feet.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be steeper, a longer and steeper grade than what we've got now.
okay.
But it'll be interesting. And there's,
So you're going to go ding, 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 ding.
Wow.
those trucks gearing down to get back up there.
Yeah.
Hey,
They're going to have to get the speed up.
hey, we did a road trip to DC over last summer, and some of the mountains where they've got construction and little different bergs along the way. I mean, you're like this, and there's semis parked next to you. You're like, dude, there's no way. So they can do it there. We can do it here.
How's he going to get off that without
Right. Sorry, we talked about South Street.
Sort of did.
South Street's going to get expanded after.
Ohio Street gets through?
Yeah.
We would like to try to do them both at the same time, but the way the state has let the bids on that, or are going to let them out, they can't be done at the same time.
Now, is that from the flashing light all the way to the bridge, or
Yes.
roughly? So they're going to widen it all the way down through there.
Right.
Good to go.
And initially they were only going to make that 10-foot lanes there and sidewalk on one side. Here again, Mr. Oakes went to Seymour, talked to the state, and they agreed that didn't make sense. It needed to be 12-foot lanes and sidewalk on both sides.
You got kids coming and going,
Yeah.
high school.
It's a safety issue. And here again, it's going to be one of the main thoroughfares over to the Grand Valley area.
Going to be a busy area, that's
Yeah.
for sure. Just coming down 37 now, whatever it is, coming southbound down the hill, that overpass does look good. I have to admit it. I'm not big on it. I shake my head every time, but it's going to look good. I think it'll look.
Well,
It'll serve the community well.
I wish I could tell you the committee. I know Chip Keller was on it. I believe Doug Mullins was on it. There was a committee to help with the beautification on how to do the bridges and the it's a technical name, but the entry points into our city.
Sure.
And they are really going to be nice. It's going to change the look for our city. And they did a fantastic job.
Mayor Kenny Costin, Kevin and Corey, you can't get it. Thank you, Bill. Yeah, it's so different now. When we flip the counter, as I said, it's like life reappeared all over. On my drive to work in the mornings, it's just like you said, everybody was getting cabin fever. And once the governor came out and said, "Hey, we're going to open the door," poof, everybody shot out.
And what amazed me, I think it was today that Greenwood has canceled their fireworks. Well, the governor was pretty spot on, saying we are wide open for business come July 4th.
Right.
Now, granted, that is coincidental, the Brickyard 400 weekend, and so now we can have spectators in the stands. But it's also Independence Day, and that's a huge celebration for us.
Yes, and I want to get to that. But Chris is asking to widen South Street, how many more homes would need to be taken? We have an estimate on that, or any?
Do not have an estimate on that. I know there's going to be a few, just for the fact that on the initial drawings they had it 10 feet, and this is one of the reasons we went back to them. You could almost touch the houses on the north side of the road.
Oh yeah,
and it just didn't make it. There's a safety issue, and at some point, and we understand that NDOT will not send the team out to approach the homeowners until they do their environmental survey and so forth. So many things that they've got to layer on.
A lot of red tape.
Things. Yeah.
The corner of St. Clair and South has always been tight, especially when you're going St. Clair and turning west onto South. That's right. That's really tight right through there. Yeah. Back to Independence Day. Rob's going to be in here tomorrow night, and we're going to talk concerts. But 4th of July, man, I think it's going to be a hell of a day. I think the city's going to show up.
Well,
it will have a good time.
I think that we need to strive to be ready to have a lot of visitors that evening, because if everyone else is canceling their shows,
valid point.
I look for us to have a lot more viewing our fireworks.
Right.
And part of me will be in conversation with the gentleman that shoots it off. He's had a lot of cancellations. Right now, we're budgeted to spend $16,500 on fireworks. I'm wanting to ask him, okay, if we give you a couple more $1,000, how much more of a show can you give us? Because you've got all this inventory that.
Sure.
I mean, I think he would want to shoot it and get out of it, and not have to keep it for another year.
Valid there. What about residence parking only around the schools? We need it bad. Residential parking only around the schools.
Okay, parking. Huge discussion we had this morning, our department heads meeting. Back in the 80s, early 80s, 81, 82, there was a parking ordinance that was passed, and in it said, see parking map. There was never no parking map in there.
You don't have a copy of that?
No. And Dale Coffey looked at the records he had from his dad, because his dad was on the council at that time. There was nothing in there. We've looked back. We've looked everywhere. We've looked at the clerk's office. There's no map talking about the parking, whether it's on the north side or the south side. And Chief Green, his concern is, got to get fire trucks down the streets. And really, the parking is a lot worse now than what it was back in the early 80s. So we are going to form a committee. I think we need a fireman, because they will know what type of width the trucks can turn and things, what's safe for them. Someone from the police department, probably our city superintendent, Mac Dunn, myself, and we'd like to get just one person that has no political ties whatsoever to volunteer to come in and help. And that would be a 5-member board that will go through, and it's not going to happen overnight, because, like, I'll use Jackson Street, for example, behind the funeral home. Now, behind the funeral home there for a few blocks, it makes sense not to have parking on the north side, because we got a huge area that there's nothing there. But you really can't take 2 blocks on the north side, then go 2 blocks on the south side.
Right.
You've got to be fairly consistent with it.
Right.
So, and that's why we want someone from the fire department to assist with that. I think, the parking, and I hear again, this week with the railroad crossing being shut down and diverting all the traffic down here, Chief Green and Chief Spivey was talking about how many semis they saw coming down Main Street and trying to make the turn onto Morgan Street.
I witnessed 3 in the same night waiting on Los Reyes. But, I saw 3 come through there.
And it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And I know some business owners were upset because we marked a couple of spots off over here on Sycamore and Morgan. But what the public needs to realize is come this fall, there's not going to be any parking on Morgan Street, I believe, from Sycamore, maybe even Wayne, down to Mulberry or maybe Marion.
Oh, wow.
So they want to get people through the city.
Sure.
So then we've got to look, what's the safest way to keep people off there. We may have, nothing's been decided, so don't, get upset just yet, but it may be coming that we make some of those streets like Sycamore and Mulberry one way to the south on the south side and then one way to the north on the north side.
You got to do what's best.
Just to keep traffic flowing.
Yeah. Blue Buff is like 465. Yeah.
Busy right now.
Yeah. Brad says we're going to start our cruising on the square starting Thursday, May 28th. Would love to see your hot rod. I don't have a hot rod. He has to be talking about you or Corey. So
He says Kenny.
I'm sorry.
I will plan on being there.
Yeah, you're going to be there.
Yeah.
That's a good deal. Brad's a good man, and that's a good show on Thursday nights down here. A lot going on, that's for sure. But
lot of good things, and what everybody needs to realize is, we are going to be so frustrated, so tormented, so mad, but we'll get through it. It's like 4 weeks ago, everybody was worried about the pandemic, which we still need to be, but we are, with the grace of God, we are going to get through this. And though this interstate project is not anything compared to what we've gone through the last 6 weeks,
amen.
But we will get through it. But what people have to realize is, if you're stuck in traffic out there on the bypass, because it's going to be a parking lot, and you see the firemen or the policemen coming, please get out of the way, because there's somebody in dire need, and they're more important right now than being frustrated.
Right.
But we're all guilty of that.
Oh yeah, it's a silver lining though, because we've been cooped up. I think that gives mentally now. I'd rather be stuck, like I said the other day. I'd rather be sitting in traffic somewhere, listen to my radio. At least you're not stuck in your house. Kids climbing all over you. Just.
I've been stuck in my house since day one. So
yeah, you're ready to drive to Greencastle.
Not really. I don't miss the driving. So
I think last Saturday is a beautiful day. But as a prime example, how we're ready to get out, because look at the line at Wendy's.
Oh yeah.
Look at the line at McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
And the Sergeant Peppers.
Sergeant Peppers was through the roof.
That was fantastic. We get roughly about $33,000 a month from the food and beverage tax restaurants that collect here. Last month, it came in last Saturday. We took a $13,000 hit. We had $20,000. But I said, look at last Saturday. I think we made it all back up in that one day.
So I said Sergeant Pepper's covered the lost revenue in one day.
And here again, that just shows we're ready to get out.
Oh yeah, I think it was good timing.
And I know my wife Debbie gets upset with me. She says, "Well, you're not taking it quite serious enough." But I have been out every day at City Hall, at the funeral home. Yeah. I have been out, and I think the ones that have not been able to get out, I think they have more anxiety than what we've had, because there is that fear. If I get out, what may happen? I know Debbie still wears her mask and her gloves when she goes to the grocery store.
Right.
And normally I would go but she said, no, you stay home and don't worry about it. I said, not a problem, dear.
Right. I know it. I see it.
Lee's open.
Lee's Chinese buffet's
open.
open. That's a good deal.
They're busy right now.
That is a good deal.
Yep.
When people, they were coming with fireworks, people will discover an awesome city and several new.
Jim's always got
Thanks.
good comments.
Yes, he does. He lives down there in Monroe County though, and he needs to get back across that county line.
The taxes are a little bit better up here.
Yes,
Come
they
north, my friend.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
What was the old car dealer? Was it Tom Wood?
Drive. Yeah.
Country,
Yeah. Was that
money.
Greenwood? Was it in Greenwood?
I don't know. But at the time, it was in the country, but it's not now.
Right. Yeah, no, that area's exploded. Avon's exploded. And I think we're going to see some growth like that too. You and I have discussed this over the year. Looking forward to that as far as once the interstate gets through.
Well, another thing that the interstate is creating for the city, it's a problem right now. Right now, we have people digging in our streets 7 days a week.
Yeah. All over the place.
Scotty and his crew are only scheduled to work 5 days a week. So when somebody breaks a water main on Saturday or Sunday, they've got to go out, and we're stressing them, keep track of your overtime.
Mr. Fuller.
Oh gosh. Keep track of your overtime, and if it's something that company has done by their mistake, then we are filing reimbursement against them.
Sure.
But I've told Scotty, we need to keep track of all of our overtime, especially the next year and a half, 2 years, because even though we've got those guys going out a lot on the weekends now, it may be worse next year.
Right.
So, and we're getting ready to go into the budget season, and we're just trying to figure, okay, right now they're running about 30% over on overtime. So we need to make sure we get that budgeted. Now, I'm not going to be very many fans when I say this, but it's just like with the water bills. Well, right now, the IURC is looking to see where we're going to be on our water rate hike, which is going to come next year. And my question to Becky Toomey was, how can they give us a water rate hike when they're not factoring in all this overtime that we have to do?
Right.
So we're trying to figure that into our budget, knowing that they haven't got that figured in. So that's why it's important for us to keep track of our overtime.
Right.
And again, it's more paperwork for Scotty, more paperwork for the clerk's office. But if we don't keep an accurate accounting of it, one, we may not get our reimbursement back from a certain company, but two, we could come up short next year worse than what we may be this year.
We don't want that.
No.
Got a good crew down there with Scotty, though. Those guys are hard workers.
Well, and like I said, he can make the best brownies.
Yeah, he last auction we did, he was supposed to bring in brownies and he didn't. He had something, got sick or something.
Sick, yeah.
So he owes us brownies, basically.
He owes us brownies.
Yeah, Scotty, if you're out there, we need brownies.
Oh, they were good. They had bacon in them. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
yeah.
What's wrong with that? Bacon.
That's one thing. But, all right, we got to ask this since we got food. When do the gyms open up? The 24th, is that correct?
Yes, 24th. I have.
Thank God.
I have had two people call that are gym operators and wanting to know, here again, can I open them up? And I explained to them, no, the governor makes this order. It's law in a situation like this, and I could only make it worse.
Right.
I can tell you can't open up till May 31st.
Right.
So, and they both understood, but the gyms are ready to open. They're ready to serve people.
Mm-hmm.
Churches, after May 8th, which is Friday, they can go back to holding services, asking for social distancing, but we get back to house of worship.
That's a good deal. And it's national. It's not necessarily here, but you open A, you close B, and some of it not understanding of some of it, why you can leave a big box store open, but a mom and pop shop could close, know. And we were not going to get into that, but that's some of the frustration from around the globe. And I know you've seen it.
50% occupancy. Okay,
Yeah.
You take a huge box store.
Yeah.
They may be able to have 1,000 people in there. Are you really going to have somebody sitting there counting?
Yeah, it's in super sports. That's 5 people you could have in there. You know what I mean? And that's a steady flow of 5 people through super sports all day does them good. Keeps them in business, keeps them afloat, or Celebrations Boutique or Tom or anywhere around here. And that's every little burg.
I think the news showed the Greenwood malls, and they had officers. They only had 2 entrances open, and they were
counting them
as they walked in.
Oh, good.
So the mall opened up Saturday, correct?
It may have been Saturday?
I think it was Saturday, and
But there was a line
Yeah,
of people
campgrounds
just
too.
waiting.
I don't understand that one.
I
But
was like, what? I mean,
yeah.
what's so exciting about going to the mall?
Now, if we were 16, 17, 18 years old,
and it looked like some young kids trying to
We're
get in
going
the
to the
mall.
mall.
But now wait a second, guys. When we were 16, 17 years old, if you didn't physically get to see your girlfriend, then that was. But they can FaceTime. They got all kinds of
Oh, I
devices
know.
nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they ought to make the kids, from the time you're 15 to 17, you can just FaceTime. You can't.
Now, I read this today, and I don't know the truth to this, but when we were younger, many, many moons ago, Woodstock was going on in the middle of a pandemic or of a bad flu or something. And I did not know that.
I didn't realize that.
I read that today, and I'm going to research that. I'm hoping somebody did Holcomb ask for any input from mayors on his opening plan.
Mr. Carter, you didn't ask me. But I did see on the news today, and I'm assuming it was the vice president and not the president. But Governor Holcomb was saying he'd received a phone call last night from, and like I said, I'm assuming it's right, and they had seen all the openings and how the states were doing things, and Indiana's was the best by far.
Really?
So I thought that was interesting.
What are the old barricades around hometown transmissions?
They have, that last storm that came through damaged some of the things on their roof. So they're up there doing some work, and they were afraid some of the bricks close by could fall over. So they've heard around there.
I think state-wise we have done well. I just think it's a mindset. People, you see them on the beaches and out there. I don't understand the campground, the beaches and stuff like that anyway. But when you tell them one day you can, then the next day you shut them down, that's where the trouble starts. And it's weird stuff going on everywhere.
Be consistent.
Yeah.
These other states, here again, don't open it up all at once. Do what Indiana's done and do it a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing that Debbie said she saw in the news was like with the malls being open, that they had the sinks and stuff in the restrooms
They showed
roped
that.
off.
There's like, you have 6 sinks. They had one
See, that
taped
didn't-
off, then one open, and one taped off,
Okay.
and one open.
I thought the bathrooms weren't open. I was like, look, I've gone to the mall with my 3 daughters, and that's not going to work because they're going to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. It's good. It's good to get,
So hair salons are Monday, right?
Yes, and I text Tootie Skaggs. I said, as soon as I was watching the governor and he said hair salons, I texted, okay, get me in on Monday or else. And then she said, okay, Monday at 11th at noon and wear a face mask. And
I think they're all booking up because I think
Oh, yeah.
my wife tried to schedule appointments.
Oh, yeah.
She couldn't get into like the 20-something, or I can't remember what day it was.
There's fingernails that need done
Yeah.
and hair.
Oh, yeah.
And just... They'll be all right. They'll make it. Any other questions for the mayor? A lot of people seem to want to ask you questions when they're typing. So hopefully now's a chance.
well, and I know some people have gone to the Facebook page we had last year during the election.
Mm-hmm.
We have put a statement on that now that if you've got questions, go to questionsformayor@martinsville.org and it'll come in and we can answer them that way. I had a gentleman send one the other day, and we're still looking at part of his answer. But he had 2 questions. Got one answered for him today. We're still looking into the other.
So there's a website I can shoot questions at you at?
Yeah.
That could be fun. Put it anonymous. Nah. That's good though. There's some people complaining, like they always going to, try to get a hold of you and whatever. I'm like, look, just because he's not on this site, there's other media sources in the city, including his own. And I know you've been in the paper. I know you've been on CBK. I know you've got your site on there. And there's a lot going on.
And the city's website,
Yes.
the city's Facebook page, we try to get as much information as possible to you. You guys are great coming, now once we get opened up, come back to the council meetings. I think that's a great way.
Yeah.
I think people watching our council meetings being live streamed also. I just think, we need to get people coming to our meetings and asking questions and hearing what's going on.
Yep.
I know I've I'm not a Facebook type person that is typing every day on Facebook, looking things up and replying. So if you really have a question for me, either one, do the old-fashioned way, call City Hall 342-2861, or go to questions for mayor at Martinsville.
Go to the website. Yeah,
and I'll be more than happy to answer. If I don't know the answer, we'll research it and try to find it out for you.
there's no game plan or structure to any of this. That's the thing. We're all learning as we go with this. Presidents, vice presidents, governors, mayors, all down the line.
And I had people saying, well, why, I heard people saying, why isn't the mayor doing something? Well, the governor sets the tone. Then each day, Kevin Green and Chief Spivey are taking lead from the health department.
Right.
They have a 10 o'clock meeting every day. And my favorite Mel Brooks movie is Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles. There you go.
But we better go back and get a dimes.
Yeah, there you go.
Duncan with the questions. There we
Kenny
go.
with with the Kenny Duncan questions. Oh, that's funny. Anybody else? Anybody else got anything? Kind of quiet. 66 people online though. They've asked quite a few, haven't they?
Quite a few questions.
And some good ones.
And there are some exciting things that right now I'm not at liberty to talk about. I know you've got Rob coming in tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
There's some things that we're going to put out hopefully next Monday after the council meeting. So
hopefully at least throw us a bone and let us know in advance. We can go live.
We will.
I know there's some stuff going on the 4th of July, and I keep telling there's Mr. Hoskins, hello Eric, for the seniors. And I'm trying to. I'm involved with another group that wants to do something, and people ask, and I'm like, first of all, you got to wait till the school year's out and see what the school's going to do, because you never know. They may open the doors next week and say, hey, they can go graduation night. Boom, you can be there. Who knows?
Or do it July 7th.
Yeah. Or June 14th is what my suggestion was, and split it up.
Yeah.
Two different slots. So you can. I think 250 is going to be the number max at that point in time. So there's ways you can get around that. But I know there's a group wanting to do something around the 4th of July for them, and so we're looking forward to that.
You can't make a statement like that and then go silent.
Who said that?
Shawnee. About exciting events coming up.
Oh yeah. You
Can't
can't say that and then be quiet. Yeah. What are the chances of me stopping by the office and seeing your mayor?
Bill Martin, you can come in anytime. All right.
Bill's a good man, isn't he?
Yes, he is. I've known him for a few years.
Yeah, Bill's a good guy. We have some wonderful people on our site, and they stay involved with what we do, and we can't thank them enough. But
now, one thing I will mention that the city is going to do for seniors. One of the things, we are going to have 4x8 signs made similar to the political signs. And it's going to say, City of Martinsville congratulates class of 2020.
Awesome.
We've ordered 10 of them. We're going to place 9 of them around the city, one over at Tabernacle, one at the high school, one at Doris Daly Park, and one at the clerk's office. And we're going to keep one back at City Hall. And we'll get a news release out next week once they come in and when we know we can do this. But the one at City Hall, we're going to set 2 days aside for the Martinsville High School seniors to come in and sign it.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to ask them to put their name in a hat.
Yeah.
Then we're going to have a day for the Tabernacle to come in and sign it. Put
Good
their
deal.
name in a hat. Then another day for the students that are homeschooled come in and sign. And then we're going to draw the name out, and whoever we draw, that'll be a keepsake for them.
That's a good deal.
Thinking that when they have their 50th year reunion, they'll look back and say, yeah, it's the year we got screwed over.
It's a pandemic year.
Yeah. but you know what?
Yeah.
We made it. It's
Right.
like, I look at the blizzard of 78, we got through the blizzard.
Yeah.
So that
Now, is that when you graduated?
no, I graduated in 79.
He's getting old. Yeah, right.
I don't remember quite.
Right. Oh, here we go. Is Veteran Energy still replacing gas lines? Veterans still replacing gas lines in the city?
Yeah. But
sidestep that one.
The road cuts we're hoping are going to get better. Gary Oaks researched and found a city's policy on road cuts. We've kind of adopted it, so they've got a fee that they have to pay. Then they have to get the cuts back in order according to what we've got in place. Prior to Gary, we had nothing in place to give people guidance, and they would come in. I think there's one on South Colfax, South Grant, maybe somewhere, and it was like a 2-foot speed bump.
Yeah.
And I think Bob Strader finally got a hold of that company, and they're going to come back and make that right.
Very nice comment by Mr. Larry Ralph. Thanks to all of you for your service to our community. There's a Haitian proverb that says, "With many hands,
Good man
is
right
easily
there.
carried." You guys
Larry
represent that well.
Larry's a good man.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Awesome family.
Yep. Speaking of Patrick Kenny's
Bill giving
class
away
of
his
71's
age.
not. Yeah.
Well, Bill, my sister graduated in 70, and Emmett's has a alumni banquet every year, and they normally honor the 70th, 50th, 40th, and so forth. My sister's all upset, so we didn't get to have it. And I told her, I said, well, maybe next year they'll just honor both 70 and 71
Combined, right?
Yeah.
Isaac says it's fixed. He must be meaning the speed
Oh,
bump.
the speed
Yeah,
bump.
yeah.
Good job, Ike.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine graduating into this my senior year. How tough it is for some of these kids that now, mind you, they've got all sorts of devices to stay with their buddies and everything like that. But it's just would have been a tough time to go.
Not to get to walk across that stage.
Yep.
That's just.
Yep.
It's not fair.
I agree, 100%. That was the highlight of it. I mean, but the formality, the ending of it, though, you shook the superintendent's hand, you walked off stage, you got done, and you were done. I mean, they don't prepare you for that last 30 feet because once you walk off, teachers don't care anymore. Get out. You don't belong in here. It's over, and it goes quick.
And Logan should have done it last year.
Yes, she should have. She wasn't going to again this year though. Anyway, make overpass a toll and pay for the South Street, Steve.
Well, that would be. I like that.
I'd be careful.
And we did it like they did down in Louisville, going across the Ohio River. It's all cameras.
Yeah.
And so you can keep going as fast as you want. That camera catches you.
Yeah, that's. Yeah. I real quick story about DC, and I've told him we hit a toll interstate in Pennsylvania, and because you hit Ohio, Pennsylvania, Maryland, and West Virginia, all right there in that corner. And we're like, hey, let's shoot up this way. It's quicker because there was nobody on it. Literally, no one on it for miles. So we opened her up and let her rip pretty good there. But we hit 4 tolls. Didn't see a vehicle anywhere on them paid tolls. And I'm like, are they paying for themselves? Probably not, because nobody was on it. But it was just a smooth, straight shot. Whatever 100 miles an hour we could get up to. So,
well, northern part of the state, is that 94 that goes
84? Isn't that it?
That we gave our toll roads to some foreign country.
To Spain, wasn't it? I believe, or something. Yeah.
So they get to toll off all of it.
Yeah. Not a good move. Okay, I have to throw this out there. I live in Monrovia, but I don't know what you two ran against each other, and you two guys actually get along. This is the way it should be. Respect. Dan.
That's right, Dan.
We've always been that way, whether we run against each other or not. And I always said I wasn't running against Mr. Costin. I was running against the voters of the city and let them decide who they felt were a better man for the job. And it was obviously Kenny. I know, Kenny. I have some peanut butter fudge for you.
Where's Kevin Corey?
I know. And
I mean,
her last name is almost the same as my last name. That's got to be some credit there.
Do you consider sharing one piece or 2 pieces?
Right. Sharing with your wife, right? That's gonna get you in trouble. I don't know whether Kenny knows this or not, but I went to school in Martinsville, but always went to Eminence for stuff.
Austria. Bill, I won't hold that against you.
Bill knows everybody in the Midwest, so don't he?
But he got wise and let his daughters go to Eminence.
There you go. Well,
Australia.
thank you.
Austria.
Kenny's just spitting out.
Kenny's just spitting out. I know, he's spitting out words, isn't he?
Next will be Reds.
Yeah, it'll be baseball. We'll be on to baseball here in a minute. Well, guys, thank you for the questions. If you got anything else, let us know here real quick.
Your phone. Must be your phone that's been going off. I keep feeling
I've got
the table vibrating.
I've got a kid messaging me and calling me, so you know how that goes.
Important.
Oh, no.
Put them live on air.
No, I've made that mistake.
Well, we better not do that.
I've made that mistake. Yeah. Yeah, there you go, Christopher Fuller. Pay for tomorrow. Mayor plans to make overpass a toll road.
I think that has to go before the Board of Works, Mr. Fuller.
Right? Yeah. How are you holding up through this? Yeah, how are you holding up through this?
There are moments that I get very discouraged and very sad when I know, the people that have passed from this. But overall, my faith has kept me going. Sense of humor, not laughing at the virus or anything like that, but God gives us a sense of humor for a reason. Right. And when we're beat down low, sometimes that's all we've got.
Amen.
But I appreciate you asking.
That's a good question. Mm-hmm. So, question for Kenny: does he know of any programs for the county business members to help with the Corona? We applied PPP, nothing. Some of us are struggling, but we're not in Martinsville. Carl's up by Monrovia.
Well, I know the governor made a comment the other day that there's $300 million that's going to be distributed to the counties and the cities and the towns. And of course, it's going to be by population. And here again, I'll put a plug. That's why it's important to take the census, so you're counted. And when things like this happen, we get our fair share. So there may be some funds coming there. Carl, I would say contact Jamie at the Martinsville Chamber of Commerce. I know we've got a meeting tomorrow, and she would be able to help you with some things, hopefully. I know that she's had some good programs, and she's emailed the other business chamber members here.
Bill says his daughters played basketball in Eminence. Amen. That's why first responders and correctional officers have such a weird, sometimes dark sense of humor. Yeah. Sometimes you gotta laugh. Crime don't always help.
Well, I know last week I was helping my son put a swing set together, and we were almost done. We had the last cable to put in to secure it, and it broke. Oh. So we went to a hardware store in Plainfield, and there were a few members in there. This lady was helping us, and she was, say, 65, 66. And I asked, has things been busy? Oh, you wouldn't know there's a pandemic, the way people come in here and stuff. And so she helps AJ pick out the cable, and I went to get a couple of wrenches that we were going to need. And we're checking out, and I make some other comment. Oh, no, she's going to see all these people coming in. This is just ridiculous. You can have as many people as you want here in the store, but you can only have 10 people for a funeral. And I made the comment, so that's kind of funny. She goes, no, it's not. And, of course, my son goes, well, he's got a sick sense of humor. He's a funeral director. But we got out in the car, and I told him, I said, she's had somebody dear to her that's passed away. Yep. And she's not been able to attend their service. Yep. And she's still mad.
Still bitter
and
over
upset.
That. Yeah.
And that is difficult. And the families that have lost loved ones during this, they've not got to do what they've wanted to do to remember. So we're hoping that hopefully Brick House will be busy with celebrations after we get through this, or families wanting to go over there and have a celebration of life or whatever, or contact back the funeral home.
Sure.
But they have not got to grieve the way they would have liked.
Carl says, thanks. I've been at work since March 8th for my contract work, and business has been shut down. We are scrapping all we can do to survive, and worried they don't allow us to open soon. This is bad on the businesses, and we have been around.
What is the number for the market? Let me see. I don't know that number off the top of my head.
35 years we're praying. Vicky says, thank you for mentioning the census. Board County 65.1%.
If you get a chance tomorrow, the phone number for the chamber is 342-8110, and Jamie would be more than happy to help you out there.
8110.
I got it, CB.
Oh, you got it? Okay. Fine, good.
Same for baseball camp practice. Yeah. Yeah, there's some that don't make sense. I give you there. And hopefully in 2-3 weeks, it's not going to matter anyway. We're going to get through this.
Yeah.
And come out the other side. Have you heard any grumblings about the county assessments? They're firing a lot of county questions at you tonight.
Really, I haven't. I know people are asking about getting their taxes paid and everything, and I know the county was going to try to address that and make it as easy as possible. The election coming up,
Right.
June 2nd. There's only going to be at this like 4 places in the county to vote. In Martinsville, it's going to be Bell Academy. They're not going to even open up the courthouse annex where we really vote. It's going to be at the Bell Academy.
So all 4 are going to be there, or 2 going to be there and 2 at Mooresville?
And it'll be 1 there, 1 at Mooresville. I don't know where the school is, which one in Mooresville. And I think Monrovia High School, and I think Emmons High School.
Real. So only 1 in our city.
Yeah.
Wowzer.
And again, everybody's always used to it being at the annex building. It's not going to be there.
Yeah.
And they are going to have early voting starting.
Better get it in.
Yeah. And the early voting will be at the school also, not at the annex building.
That'll be a busy election day then.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine if you're running for office right now. You know, this is knocking on, well, not now, but it would already happen. But this is knocking on door weather and getting you out there in agenda. None of that has went on. Not very little, if any. You know, and there's a lot of incumbents that are, hey, it's good, and a lot of new people are like, man, I got to get out amongst people.
I know.
Vicky
Paul Hadley.
or Kelly did.
Yeah,
Vicky
thanks,
did
Kelly.
too.
Paul Hadley, Vicky, and Kelly. Thanks, Vicky.
Now, you and I had a fun election,
Yeah.
but I was wore out
Oh,
by
yeah.
the time we were done that night.
We both
Could
walked
you-
the entire city.
Could you imagine going until June 2nd?
That's when you just sit back and do this and start calling numbers. No,
Well, you know, used to, if you had a phone book, you could do that.
Yeah.
Nobody has a phone landline anymore.
Nobody has anything like that anymore.
No.
No, but I mean, there's some fun in that, and you know that. You guys, your group had fun doing the walk, and our group did too. We different nights, even in the rain. I know you guys were out in it, but that's your dedication to what you're doing. If you're not going to do it, then you're not going to, you know.
But you know what was nice about ours? You were promoting yourself, I was promoting myself, and we didn't have to worry about what the other one was saying.
Right.
And people, you know, I tell them that our campaign was great. They, what are you talking about? I said, oh, it was fantastic. It was. We'd go to the Republican breakfast, sit together.
Yep.
They're like, what are they sitting together
Sit
for?
together at the council meetings.
Yeah.
And we'd get funny looks. Yes, I did, Bill. I just donated that into that group. Thank you, sir. All candidates are not allowed to campaign at the polling locations on. Really? They're not allowed. So you're not allowed to have any campaign people there at all?
Huh.
I was wondering because that'd be a mess of people. No other polling places but one around here. Becky says she has phone books.
But you know, the new phone books, the print's so small. I can
Oh
barely
yeah,
read it.
oh yeah. But I mean, that thing would come out about every 6 months, a new phone book, and you'd see it laying out on your sidewalk, and it's that deep, you know.
You know what I really loved? Remember the Robinson directories?
Yeah.
Put out the nosy book.
Nosy book.
Yeah, that was great. It told you who the husband was, who the wife, what her baby.
Well, you know what the nosy book is now? Facebook. Facebook. It is the nosy book. All right, y'all. We've kept the mayor with us long enough. Anybody got anything else to say online? We appreciate all the questions. Staying with us. We had a little glitch in the system. Who knows what that was? I think it was coronavirus hitting our computer trying to take us out. Maybe it was the murder hornets. Wow. I'm not a bee fan. And those things are that big, you know?
But they don't sting you, Kevin.
Yeah, they bite you. Corey, you got anything for the mayor?
No.
Sending you prayers every day. Thank you, Joni. Thank you.
A lot of good info.
Yeah, good stuff. As always.
Thank you for having me on.
Oh, you know, we enjoy it. And as soon as you open back up for the council meetings, we'll be in there. Like I said, tomorrow night, Rob's going to be in. You know, we're working on something for later in the year. And there's few other things we got going on. So CB needs to keep quiet. Yeah. Dan, he's on you. God bless Mike. So it's going to be a good year, sir. You know, if you need anything from us, let us know. I've told you that on here. And did you see the video of the guy get sting? Yes. And it said, calm down, Corey. Anything you need from us, let us know. We'll gladly help where we can.
That guy took a sting from one of those?
Did you not see that? It was on that show where they get bit by everything, which is the dumbest show on TV. It's sitting on his arm, and he's like, oh. Well, he gets it off of it, but within seconds, the knot comes up, and it numbs his arm straight down. It totally numbs. He can't even move his hands. I was like, dude,
why?
He does fire ants and all.
I've seen
like,
him do stuff like that.
Dude, I've been bit fire ants. I don't know.
I think there's a better way to make a living.
Yeah.
No, I'm not getting bit by it. Thank you for coming on the show, boss says. So I even asked her, I said, do you want to hang out with us? She goes, no, I got to go home and do stuff. So, okay, fine. She's a good boss. She's a good person.
Yes, she is. Very active.
Yeah, she stays with it. Well, Kenny, you got anything else to add, say?
No. Hopefully I'll be back sometime in June with an update of some things. And
we'll be ready, gearing up for the 4th of July at that point in
right.
time. So we'll have Robin here tomorrow. He'll get us lined out on the concert stuff and other things. So Kenny, as always, thank you. God bless you and your whole team. I think that we're moving in the right direction, and hopefully we'll get through this, sir.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Corey.
Guys, it's going to be our show for the night. Beth is a great person, Eric. Yes, she is. Thank you guys so much. CB, as always, thank you for coming in and hanging out.
Quiet as always.
No, but you do a lot for that.
I have to keep you in mind.
Yes, you do. Somebody
and the chat.
Yes. We'll do our normal stuff here. We'll kill the feed. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow night with Rob. You guys have a good evening. Keep the mics on for a minute so they get to hear us talk and can't see us reacting to anything. So, now we got to end it. So.
Night, y'all. Lisa said night.
Night, Lisa. All right, guys. We'll see you.